The American people should be given more information. They're ready for it. They can handle it. And they need and deserve to know it. Whether it's the president personally, he can't go on national TV every evening, but the Congress has an obligation as well to inform the American people.
Hiya. Welcome to this Sunday's Alien Addict. As ever, I'm Lee Stevens, going to be joined by Dave in just a second. We'll get through the usual stuff because not enough of you are doing it. And as soon as enough of you do it, I'll stop having to be able to do it. If you want to support the channel, it's Patreon, obviously. If you want to become a channel member, you can on YouTube. That would be fabulous. You can support us over on Rockfin. You can be subscribed on Rockfin, all that good stuff. If you're a content creator and you need help, then our affiliate link for Fiverr is in the description. That would also be great. Special episode coming tomorrow. We are doing a special episode over on Rockfin for 9/11. Looking forward to it. Been trying to brush up on all of the conspiracy goodness I used to devour in the early 2000s. So that's going to be a good show. That will be 9 o'clock tomorrow, not Thursday like the normal Rockfin day. So 9 o'clock tomorrow, Rockfin. I think we'll be doing a pre-show at 8:30 as well here. In fact, I know we'll be doing a pre-show here at 8:30. So there'll be a pre-show on YouTube at 8:30. Anyway, without further ado, David, how are you?
Here.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you.
How have you been? Have you had a good weekend? I will ask you this question like I haven't already been speaking to you about it.
About the weekend?
Yeah.
I had some interesting interactions with people eating Beyond Meat burgers, which I've never actually seen anyone eat.
Have you ever seen the like the sausages, Beyond Meat sausages in the? It's great, yeah. Because first of all, they look horrid, but they're also because they've not got like the texture and sort of like rigidness of a good quality sausage.
No, man, I'm not touching them. I don't want my food cooked on the same surface as those things.
No, but they run. So when
they have legs,
kind of. So if they're not packed flat and just sat flat and like they're slightly on a squiff, the sausage is like squished down and they look even more like penises than they originally do. It's just the most unappetizing thing a person could ever see.
The lady with her Beyond Meat burger was for her and her kids. It was a birthday thing I had to go to. My wife dragged me to. And yeah, man, she didn't want it cooked on the grill with the other meat products. It's like, you want this guy doing the grill to like make your own fire, make a fire for you, for your one little fucking, or I guess she's force feeding to her kids. Fun story. She came back and her kids were eating like regular burgers and hot dogs. And hell, she wanted to lose her shit. But all the other parents were all like laughing so that nobody said anything, you know?
It's because they hit some sort of fucking primal survival instinct. Like
I gotta
they
fucking
were,
eat. I gotta eat.
they were in the
Yeah.
box of like raw meat and just devouring raw meat. Has anyone
Yeah.
got any raw liver?
Yeah, and it was
sucking the bone marrows out of the pet cat.
it was a great barbecue too, man. Like fucking everything was awesome. So like that had to be driving them crazy. And like don't want to say where we were, but so the kids had a water access, and so a bunch of them are swimming, and the parents are watching, and they're all going back and forth, and and like the mom was out there after one of her kids, and the other ones were all up there, and I had like strolled back up looking for my idiots, and I saw her kids and they're just fucking devouring real food, and this one grandmother was just like shoveling it to them. And they're like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" They're like, "Hurry, she's coming back." It's like shit. That's how they live their life.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if they turned feral because of that? And so, like, then over the next couple of days, when she starts trying to feed them corn again, they just snap and they eat her.
So they go to school with my kids, and I know what kind of lunches they have there. So I'm sure the mom's sending whatever kind of lunch. But you prepay the school lunches. It's a private school, so you prepay your lunches for the whole year. So it's part of the tuition. It is what it is. So I guarantee they're just throwing that shit in the trash and having like whatever they're, because the school does. It's pretty good. Like they go to like KFC or they go to like a pizza place or like different days, different things, and it's God's Lord's chicken. They have that. I can't think Chick-fil-A. Like they'll have that come in, and so I'm sure those kids are just fucking getting down on it. You know what I mean? Like,
good. I'm glad.
Yeah, good for them. That's
Imagine
how they're gonna survive this.
But imagine how sad that would be is when you have like fucking Domino's delivering pizza to your school, and you're sat there in the corner eating a mung bean salad.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's bad, man.
And it's not. It's not good.
Bad. No, it was hilarious though. It was hilarious.
On to like more show topics. Kind of want the chat to get like heavily involved in this today. Sexually, like all over.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You're talking about super chats.
Sure.
But no,
sure.
Yeah. But super chats are not. I want a vocal chat today. Because it's like things are getting fucking weird, and we couldn't be honest, couldn't really think of like a new show topic for tonight. But then I think the topic for this sort of stuff right now is why this stuff is being churned out, and like, excuse me, even when you look at like online web pages and stuff like that now, where you've got like news aggregators and stuff like that, like MSN. Every one of them now has got 2 or 3 like UFO stories on it.
Yeah,
and it's weird. Like it's really getting strange. The lines between like news and conspiracy theory are getting so blurred. And I think that we've had conversations like this for a while. But I don't think you've ever really said like what you think. If someone had to like gun to head, what's it all about, Dave? In the most YouTube friendly way you can possibly say it. What do you think's going on?
I mean, if they're putting a gun to my head, like they don't really want to know. They just want to scare me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk my way out of that. It's not my first rodeo. Now, if I'm hanging from a hook with bound hands and I'm stripped naked, shit's getting real. That's time to answer questions.
Okay, strung up, gun to balls.
Oh yeah, you're just trying to scare me. No, guns don't come into play when you really want to talk to someone. You don't stick a gun in their face.
You waterboard them.
No, believe it or not, like it doesn't. I mean, it's great, for people who aren't accustomed to water.
What a quote, Dave. CIA Dave, waterboarding. It's great.
I mean, it works really well if people aren't accustomed to water. if you're accustomed to water, it doesn't work so great. Like it's, I'm not saying it's a wonderful thing to do. I'm just saying it is effective. So use it on desert peoples. Yeah, it scares the absolute shit out of them. If you grew up around water, you'd be all right.
What if you're just prone to getting the sniffles?
You just let them get cold.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you really want answers from someone, honestly, stripping them naked and hanging them up is a great way. I mean, the Israelis are all about it. Like, they have that shit down to an art form. They'll get answers. You know what I mean? Nobody is brave with their dick hanging in the wind. You know what I mean? And especially when the guy in front of you brings out, a small pair of pliers.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like needle nose. Things are getting fucking real. You know what I mean? It's gonna go poorly.
I'm gonna get tortured today. What a sucky feeling that must be. Like,
But you know what the worst part is? When they tell you it. They tell you everything that you're gonna do. They tell you what your reaction. They tell you what you're thinking. And then there's nothing you can do about it.
Was it the
toy box killer?
No, was it the Israelis that killed the journalist?
Well, I will preface this. Whatever the Israelis may or may not have done, I am not going to comment on any kind of public platform.
Yeah,
and neither should you, Lee.
No, that's very true. I can't. It probably wasn't the Israelis. It was
talk shit about the CIA,
the
MI6, anyone you want. Not
I can't remember. No,
the Israelis.
There was a journalist, wasn't there, that was famously killed in an embassy. I can't remember what embassy it was, and the person that did the hit on him.
No, I am absolutely sure the Israelis had nothing to do with that.
Absolutely nothing.
It was somebody else's accident.
I think the person that put the hit on the journalist, as he insisted on being phoned as he was being tortured to death. And that's the thing. Like, he was never getting out there. They didn't want information. He was just, this is going to start, and this doesn't stop until you stop.
See, the thing is, like, that's real torture, like not sanctioned torture, but like not enhanced interrogation, but like real torture. Real torture is, you're gonna die here. Your choice is, I can go quickly or I can go slowly. Choose. And needle nose pliers pinching a little piece of your skin and being yanked down by a grown man in interesting places. Like, let them start at the insole of your foot and work the way up the inside of your leg. There's nothing you can do about it. There's, sometimes it pulls off in a bit, sometimes it pulls a strip. You'll talk. You'll tell them anything they want to know. You'll make shit up.
They wouldn't even need to go that far. If anyone's ever going to torture me, don't bother. Just ask. Just ask.
See, that's the thing too.
I'm an open book.
Most people don't get it, is that just being stripped naked in like if you're in a concrete facility of some kind, or you're underground or wherever, like a metal container, if it's shaded and the sun doesn't have direct heat, if you're there in the evening and they leave you overnight, I don't care if it's 85, 92, 95 outside, right? When you come to the next morning and you have the onset of hypothermia, if you've ever had to go through a sleepless, tortured night of cold, even in the desert, right? Like when it drops down to 50, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Like, you're burning so many calories through the night to try and stay up. The mind's fried. That's really the best thing. Like, they won't talk to you the first day. They'll come tomorrow because they're going to fuck with you all day. And then you know what happens tomorrow? Maybe they spray you with the hose and leave you up again all night. Yeah. It's art, man. There's art. You got to appreciate it.
I appreciate the fact that it hasn't happened to me
yet.
I was just looking through the comments here. The C. Barry is all in for what we're being prepped for and what he thinks we're being prepped for. He said, "Yes, the mothership arrives. We are just a food source. There is."
That's what John Lear said, right?
Yeah, well, it's soul vessels.
Kind of. Yeah, that they feed off our emotions. Like, they're not of this frequency dimension plane. They're in another one, and they keep us here so they can feed off us there, which is interesting.
I appreciate the fact that it hasn't happened to me yet.
You'll tell me anything they want to know. You'll make shit up. They Maybe. Kind of makes
maybe.
sense. Yeah.
There was something else I wanted to point out as well. I can't quite
We're
find
going to talk more about torture. I can do that all day.
I guess.
I'm sorry.
I
Enhanced
fucking
interrogation. Yeah.
Enhanced, yeah. Evolved interrogation methods.
You'd be amazed how far you can fit your index finger into someone's ear canal. Go right through that eardrum.
Oh,
yeah.
I've got quite thick fingers though.
Oh, it'll still go. That's so do I. It'll still go, buddy. Yep. Same thing up their nose. Start touching the sinus cavities.
Oh, yeah. No, I could do that. Yeah. That'd be
yeah, but it's someone else's, and they're going to go as far as they like.
They'd probably be quite surprised. I did a fairly good job at trying to hollow the inside of my nostrils out in the early 20s.
Orgasm, they're not going to know what it is. Put that shit in the notes.
What are you doing next? Because I'm nearly done.
No, it's 2 more seconds. 2 more seconds.
Yeah, no, on the like current sort of disclosure movement, I keep saying I think something's coming. I think we're going to get something. I can't quite work out whether we're being prepared to for something that's inevitable or something that's planned. That's the only thing I can't get my head around.
I wonder that too. I wonder if there's so much organization, that's why it doesn't feel like there is.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like it feels like someone working against organization to stop it from happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would mean that it is organic or somewhat, people trying to work towards a common goal. I don't know. It just puts into how dastardly and clever is the government.
Mm-hmm.
Certain aspects of the government are not. They are woefully incompetent, like basically everyone who's elected.
I'm guessing that, clever. Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm guessing the ones that end up being incompetent are the ones that all they have to deal with is us, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get the low end of the stock.
Oh, yeah. But the people who would know what's going on, Booz Allen Hamilton, right? It's a private intelligence corporation. Mm-hmm. They're all brilliant. In fact, you met several people at my party that work at Booz Allen Hamilton, whether they said that or not. So they're highly intelligent individuals, and they've all been in the military or some facet of the intelligence agency, and then they go and work there. It's kind of like we were just talking about the Israelis, right? There's a private organization called Black Cube, right? It's all former Israeli intelligence. Mm-hmm. And they're private for hire, which I got to be honest, if I ever had real money and real needs, that's who I'd fucking hire. They don't mess around.
See, the whole thing like black cube stuff, and it all kind of hints, there's so much of that hints towards some sort of like Saturnalia type thing. Saturn worship, the black
I never thought about that, but yeah, I never thought about that, but I think you're probably right on that.
Even like the Black Rock and stuff like that. The black cube is being used for years to reference Saturn. Which I suppose the odd thing there is, I mean, that's been going for a long time. I'm guessing that the black cube comes from the that hexagonal storm that's always the top of Saturn, and that the whole like black cube thing has been going longer than we have been able to observe like what's going on in the poles of Saturn. Again, this is something that the next person I want to try and reach out to get on the show is Isaac Weishaupt from Occult Symbolism and Pop Culture, and he's brilliant. He is the best at sort of occult decoding, I think, because he's not crazy, which helps, and he also speaks like a real human person rather than wanting everything to be, wanting everything to be a riddle wrapped in a myth.
Synthetic.
Yeah, no, but some people are,
No, yeah.
they
I know
get
what you
into
mean.
this deep research and they want you to know how clever they are that they've worked this out. Whereas when you listen to Isaac Weishaupt talk about it, you just feel that he wants you to understand what he's saying.
No, I don't know who that is, but I definitely check it out. That'd be fun.
Yeah, you'd like
lots of good questions to ask.
Yeah, it's a good show. That'd be a really good Rockfin show. Someone said Isaac Weishaupt, is that his real name? I don't think it is his real name, actually. I think he took it as a pseudonym because he's wrote 5 books, I think. I think the first 2 books called he ripped the Guns N' Roses name. I think his first 2 books are called like Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, something like that. But his stuff is brilliant. It's all on. If you look from on Audible as well, he's narrated and done audio versions of all his books. So if we get him on, that's what I'll have to be hitting. But it just feels like there seems to be so many things that it feels like a scattergun approach, but it all kind of hints to it being a threat.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just don't.
Well, I know you hang around with some pretty serious, like you say, pretty serious people, and you've said like quietly to us, like you've been speaking to people like these people do X, 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 and X, and like they're all stood around now talking about fucking Depop and aliens.
Yeah.
And that's
and
wild.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But here's the thing: like, say the depopulation agenda is part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cult in nature. There's some kind of trans-dimensional being that you can't access here, but is somewhere else, and we have been farmed, and not so much farmed as manipulated from the top down, right? To elicit war, anger, all the lowest and worst things, because that's what it thrives on. It's like a fucking parasite. What are you gonna do about it?
Well, I mean,
none of us can. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, even if there is some sort of other agenda for us after this, you could, if that's what we were bred for, you could almost argue that the West is becoming surplus to requirements.
I would argue that's not what we were bred for, but that is what the situation has been manipulated to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see that. I mean, I think people who play in serious games, which is definitely not me, but they can see like there's hands that move things in brilliant ways, almost like it knows all parts. It knows all parts of the situation. I mean, whoever has the most information is king, right? Mm-hmm. That allows for them to do whatever. And because we're on YouTube, I have to choose what situations we talk about carefully.
Yeah.
But aggression between nation states, right? If you look at it like how that happened, people are like, well, it was inevitable. Look at the history. Okay. How did that get set up so perfectly? It was it's obviously an investment. Like if you were playing strategy, like, well, it just ended up there. Human nature being what human nature is. Petty theft, crime, that is a very natural order to things. Mm-hmm. Conflict between tribes is natural order to things. These protracted throughout history, when you study the different engagements, you're just like, Like, yeah, I mean, it obviously ended up here through treaties or, through this march or through that. It was bound to happen. It was inevitable. We say those things. Historians say those things. Military historians say those things. Okay. And we take it for granted because they're an authority. If you remove that authority and their constant reinforcing that this was always going to happen, and you look at it from a conspiratorial viewpoint, one of skepticism or distrust, you think, wow, things got set up on either side pretty perfectly. What's that movie? The second Sherlock Holmes, right? Where Moriarty's trying to engage World War I and he's setting everything up all the way across.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a very interesting reference because anyone who studied World War I, when you look at those things, like, yeah, man, things were set to just explode like that. Like it's amazing. Okay, but like, oh yeah, well, this history did this, and this cousin was mean to this cousin, and they had this nickname, and he didn't like it. Yeah, but that's asking me to believe in coincidence on a global scale.
And you're also talking about a time where communication was in such a position where, it would take 3 to 4 months to even find information out. But for the argument to escalate, the time it would take for the argument to escalate to the point of war would be insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Lack of communication, I think, helps to escalate things quicker than an abundance of communication. Abundance of communication slows the ability to aggress. So, like, fighting only starts when talking stops. You may always have, state actors, which are spies or, special operations teams behind lines or, paid assets acting on behest of a government or an intelligence agency, or those things are like, since states have been states. And when I mean individuals, I mean like, countries. That's always been. It's just part of it. It's always been. There's always been that kind of play. But you can look at certain instances like it was orchestrated perfectly from all the way around. And I think that's part of the reason, like if you look in, say, North America right now, we're on a powder keg as a country. The fact that it hasn't erupted into something yet, I think speaks testament to the fact that we have communication. Everything can be addressed so quickly and disseminated so quickly. Everyone can find out. Everyone can participate for good or bad. It slows initial reaction time because it allows us to find out more information. It allows every individual to find out that, not just a narrative being pushed. And if you want to control for explosive reactions, you need to control the narratives totally. And I'm dancing around something. But
I think the interesting thing with that is the fact that unless someone has like really, really different ideologies to you, and like I like, and I don't even just mean that now as in the like current like progressive versus conservative mindset, because realistically, in most cases, those people have really similar ideals and similar beliefs. They just they're disagreeing on like wild stuff, like
minutia,
how many genders there are or stuff like that. But fundamentally, they all want to speak to their friends. They all want to go out and have a good time. They all want to go home to their families. So the important things are the same, and that crosses cultures as well. And that's why most of the time, if you go and like if you holiday somewhere or you have to go and work somewhere, in general, people are nice to each other. I don't think this idea is that we are like a territorial war culture is necessarily true. People aren't like that. Politicians seem to be like that.
Well, I mean, there's definitely an aspect of people that are predatory in nature, and given an opportunity, they'll thrive. Like,
well, we are the most effective predator that's ever walked the face of the planet.
Oh yeah. I mean, and there's just certain no-go zones, certain no-go things. History of the world, though, right? But for full-on, I don't know. So what? I'm straying off topic there. Sorry. Yeah. So I don't know. I could see it being plausible that there is something else manipulating and steering on an unbelievable level. Something that would clearly have to have intelligence all the way around. You know what I mean? And then just lets it happen. Yes, I could believe that. Know whether it's feeding on him from an interdimensional plane or not. I don't know. I've had some weird experiences in life, and I could definitely go to that and say, yeah, maybe. As far as the disclosure and what they want, like, I just don't trust the government in general. Period. You should never trust your government. You shouldn't trust anyone's government. Government is the only purpose of government is to grow itself. And until people grasp that the only purpose government exists is to grow itself and to grow its power and to grow its influence. That's all it's there for, is to make more bureaucrats and more politicians and to have more power. You know, most of the Western countries have so many laws on the books. You're breaking multiple laws a day. You know, there's a joke, and it's not a joke, and it floats in the law enforcement communities and others as an anecdote that, you know, you show me the person and I'll find the crime, right? It's true. It's true. All they have to do is watch you long enough, you'll commit a crime. You won't even know it's a crime. I mean, I think it's in the United States, everybody commits a felony a day. Because there's just so many laws. We were never meant to live like this. It was never meant to be like this. And you get certain sociopathic people with these crazy, you know, godlike egos that want to rule everyone and everything. So you're asking me to trust that these people are going to disseminate information for the best of me and you and everyone else? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not what's going on at any given time.
Yeah,
at any given time.
Even the whistleblower thing gets me. You know, I've said it like a bunch of times, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But I don't hear enough people say it, like especially like the so-called like commentators on this sort of subject. I don't hear enough people say that, you know, it's whistleblowing doesn't work out for people in general, and they certainly don't get like a congressional hearing and a pat on the back for doing it. They get dragged into a back room, disciplined, and if that doesn't work, they get offed.
They're lucky if they get disciplined. You know, they get very lucky if they get this. If they get a warning, that means they're a critical personnel. Yeah, man, it's, you know, certain conspiracies. I'll entertain any and all conspiracies. Like when we have guests on, I'll entertain anything anyone's saying. It doesn't mean I agree with it. Doesn't mean I don't think they're not batshit crazy. Still, you know, to be polite and fun and you know, give your thought process over to it and see what it runs with. There's nothing wrong with seeing things from different perspectives, even potentially schizophrenic ones. Maybe you learn something about yourself. I don't know. You know, like breakaway civilization here on Earth. That's human.
Yeah.
We have a breakaway civilization and the government knows about it, or there's high elites that run the oil industry. Greer's whole spiel. I don't believe any of that bullshit for a second. Not one fraction of a second.
I mean, realistically, I think we've got a breakaway civilization.
Yeah, but we see
it's them. Just in plain sight. The breakaway civilization is having the money and resources to do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The Rothschild family is one of the most powerful, influential families on the planet. You know what any of their family members look like, where they live, what they're into? No, they're not on any of that shit. But they very much control the world. I mean, they have family members that can poke the King of England in the chest. You know what I mean? Like, and talk down to him. Like that's power. You know, the same kind of people who can be waited on by the president of the United States. Like those people are real. Yeah. So whatever's disseminated or squeaks out.
Talk about wait on. I wouldn't trust the current president to wait somewhere.
Oh, no one would want him to make anything. Yeah, that poor guy's just shitting his pants and wandering around. You know, if he wasn't such an evil bastard, I'd feel bad for him. He's had this coming for a long time. Google any of his old speeches. This guy's had this coming.
It's amazing how they've disappeared. It's amazing how
they still find them.
No, yeah, but they never get brought up. It's really weird. Nope. They never get brought up by people.
Nobody talks about that. So look at like Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. Where do they fit in on this, right? I guess I could see that it would be easy to say that they are just disinformations and they're shills and they're government agents. I don't think they're government agents. I don't think they're knowing government shills. I don't agree with any of that. I think they definitely know people in the government, and for whatever reason, they're telling them stuff that's getting okayed to be released.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot of things. It says they don't have direct access, so what's being given to them is being cleared. Okay. So somebody somewhere has decided it's okay to let these guys do it. Doesn't mean they're government.
They're
I don't
also,
think they are.
I think there has to be a that's why I think it's really it's really interesting and worthwhile listening to them when they speak.
Yeah.
Is because even if they are being misled, it won't all be bullshit.
Correct.
You can't just tell somebody bullshit and expect to get it away as truth, because that it falls apart under its own weight really quickly. There needs to be a foundation of reality behind what they're saying. And they especially Jeremy Corbell, he's far too enthusiastic while not being a trained liar. He's far too enthusiastic to know he's not telling the truth. He has to think he's telling the truth.
Well, and I mean, to him, he is. I mean, at a certain point, like, see, here's the thing, like, shill gets tossed around there a lot. This person's government disinformation. It's this is how, I'm going to tell you a huge secret. This is how the intelligence community buys people online. Do you want to know? It's not classified. It's not even a fucking secret. They'll set up trusts, grants, or businesses. They'll fund them, and they'll allow that person to access. They allow that person to do their research, report on whatever the hell they want, until they want something dropped or talked about. You do that, and the money keeps coming. They will keep investing in you. You don't do that, the money stops coming. It's as simple as that. And if for any reason they think you're not the right fit, they just drop you, because no one will believe you.
It's interesting. Reminds me of somebody on YouTube.
Yeah, and something else is, like, if you go and say, well, you know, the government offered me money, or they're going to let me keep making money, and they're going to do this. If you're in the conspiracy world, you're going to sound like a sellout and a shill and a clever officer. Because if, again, people who work at CIA and intelligence agencies are not agents, they're officers. They have agents, and technically they don't even have agents; they have assets. That's how they view people. So think about that for a second. If you've ever taken accounting, assets. That's how they view individuals, as an asset. Yeah, like, okay, well, you know, you don't think you're stable. There you got to go. And the thing is, you wouldn't meet an officer out. Like, if I was going to do it, I would meet Lee personally. Like, if I wanted to get to Ollie, I would meet Lee personally at the bar. I would show enthusiasm. I would gain trust into a circle. We become friends. I would already know most of the stuff about him. And I'd be like, hey, man, I know that you and your buddy do this show. I have a buddy. He's got money. He would absolutely be willing to, you know, put some up for research. He doesn't want you guys to talk about it. He doesn't want to be a part of it. And once you take that hook, right, or maybe I'm able to
exactly
third party
the same way as donating for politicians.
Yes. It's, I mean, so people are like, well, they're bought and sold. Nah, they may not genuinely see it that way, because the thing is, they genuinely pick people who aren't either going to ask too many questions, or they're going to be like, what are you going to do? Turn down an extra $100,000 a year? There's a famous, I wish I can think of the guy's name off the top of my head right now, covered in the Y Files. They were talking about it. That particular guy was talking about it. The crop circles in the UK. He's one of the leading writers and investigators, funded by this and that. And he's always been suspected of being some kind of intelligence asset. And it doesn't mean he works for the government. He's got a badge. And no, he is into crop circles. He is a published author, and he is on it. It's when they want him to maybe throw some shade at a circle or bump up a circle. That's what he's going to do, because that's what he's paid to do. He's going to do whatever he's asked, basically. It's not going to be anything crazy or out of his nature, and it'll be pretty rare. You can guarantee that at least 10% of all major podcasts are paid that way. Right? There are things set up for them. And if you wonder why someone immediately rises to fame out of nowhere, it's because they got picked. because the coincidence just isn't a thing,
Mm.
you know.
That's why I'm, as much as I enjoy the podcast, I'm really skeptical about the rise of Sean Ryan.
I'm not. So here's the thing: like Sean Ryan is only coming to the conspiracy thing because of the alien stuff recently,
Mhm.
right? Simple fact of the matter was he was with the SEAL teams. He was with ground group.
Oh yeah, no. His
Yeah.
background. I don't get it wrong. I know his background is
Yeah.
is
So if
all
you watch
legit.
his early shows, it was all team guys,
Mhm.
group guys, ground guys. That's why I started following him, because I love the stories. I was like, man, that's fucking incredible. And it was a very new twist, and that new twist came with what, from his whole religious experience and conversion thing, which I believe is legit. Like, Sean Ryan is a lot of things, but people are like, he's this whatever mastermind owned because he was a ground guy. He was a fucking trigger puller. He was not a spy. It's different. He's the guy that drove the spies around. He's the guys that kicked in doors and fucking black bag people and did other things that he's clearly done a lot of mushrooms and shit to try and get past. And I can't imagine what that's like. And I'm really happy for him, his kid, his wife, and his oncoming kid that he has been able to move in that direction. He's done a lot of good. I do not think he would be a CIA asset. I do not think he would be an intelligence community asset, because he wouldn't be a good one. Because exactly what we're saying now, he would be suspected of.
It just seemed like an overnight thing. Like it was.
Oh no! I mean, I followed him for ever.
Oh no! Yeah, but that's that.
And his money for his show, that's his money. That in the early episodes he had kind of talked about when he was a contractor, a private contractor. And you should go listen to those episodes for that, because I don't want to paint him in any kind of light. He did what he had to do. And that's how he got all his money. He used to live in Florida, moved to Tennessee, and how he decided to start his podcast was really his current wife, when he was out golfing, trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life. She had told him, like, all these people love those podcasts, for, again, reference like Joe Rogan. All those really cool guys, Delta Force guys and SEAL Team 6 guys. And, like, people will listen to that. The whole tripping, the whole psychedelic and alien thing is very new. And the fact that he started with Greer and all that jazz, again, tells me he's not an asset. It's just
maybe. I mean, I still go back to that picture we have probably still in the I didn't turn my little thing off on my phone. With like Greer and the Rockefeller and the whole gang,
great picture.
Yeah, I 100% think that Greer could, and I
think he was, but I think he's on the outs.
Maybe he just does what he needs to do. Like he's just noise at the end of the day. I think he's just
what if Greer is still an asset
with people.
Yeah, if Greer is still an asset, it would be more likely that Greer got a hold of Sean Ryan first, and I believe that is exactly what happened. And Sean Ryan has interest in it, and he's kind of got swept up, but he's also a smart enough guy to. I just don't see it, man. Like, and I could definitely be 1,000% wrong, but I don't. I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. I know the training because he used to also make money by doing training, running training, and I know people that did it and like not. It's just not. Now there's a few others I would be suspicious of, but whatever. I wish him success. He followed a solid business model. Yeah, but fuck, full disclosure, man. If any government agency of any kind in the world is listening, I'm definitely for sale. I'm not even that expensive.
I'm definitely not as expensive as Greer would be.
I think you'd be amazed.
I enjoy your optimism there. Greer would likely explain that picture if you reached out. I'm sure he'd explain it. I'm sure he would. Most people that are put in odd situations will.
I would love to have Greer on.
I
not
would
even
love to have
on.
him
I would love to talk to him. I don't live
Yeah.
that far from him.
I think the interesting thing would be about Greer is the. I think the problem is I think he's almost like Hulk Hogan now. But I don't believe Stephen Greer is a person anymore.
Yeah,
Dr. Stephen Greer.
He's a larger than life.
Yeah, he would. I know people which are always on, like they've got to say whether they do like radio or TV work, and all of a sudden you realize whenever you speak to them, you're speaking to the radio or TV person.
Yes, you're not speaking to the person.
Yeah, in the same way as I think if I met Hulk Hogan, I'd meet Hulk Hogan. I think it would be very difficult to speak to Terry Bowler at any point ever anymore.
Does he even exist?
Probably not.
Yeah. I'm actually checking something on a map because I actually think my buddy lives very close to Greer. My fighter pilot buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're basically almost neighbors. So that's where I'm going to be distracted for a second. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't think anyone does. I think that there is some kind of intelligence community influence on a lot of things because Knapp and Jeremy refrain from one particular description of the phenomenon. They don't touch on it. They don't talk about it. They don't reference it. It's carefully left out. Jeremy, in a very weird way, left it out at the end of that one documentary he did about Skinwalker Ranch, The Hunt for the Skinwalker. Like they were doing an interview and they bleeped it out. And he had done another interview.
I can't remember that. What was that?
You have to watch the end of it. Yeah, the Hunt for the Skinwalker.
Yeah, I know I've watched it, but I can't remember what was beeped out.
It's at the end. Yeah, well, it's beeped out, so who knows? But he also talked. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the show that it was for. I lost it. He had mentioned in a reference on a show, like he talked about a dude getting possessed, and it was like a black cloud, and he's like, and Jeremy made a joke. So I was like, "You talking about a fucking demon? This is like a fucking demon, man. This is crazy." And then at the end of the Hunt for the Skinwalker, you hear Jeremy say something bleeped, and then you see Norb say, "No, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to address it. I don't want to talk about beep." And you're like, so there's a descriptor here. There's a descriptor that we're not using. What is it? What do you not want said? Because whatever they don't want said, it's what I'm leaning towards. It probably fucking is. Like you're trying to paint a different picture for some reason.
Yeah, that's. I lean towards the demonic when it comes to these things, and I know people in the chat certainly here start to yawn a little bit. I think I brought it up on Friday's show actually before my internet fritzed out. I find how closed-minded people are in this community quite weird now. Like I thought the idea of being into this stuff was like the free thinking. Like I don't know if I believe it or not, but I'm willing to listen. And not only am I willing to listen, I'm willing to research it. I'm willing to listen and read fucking hours of this before I decide whether it's bullshit or not. Now things seem to get closed down really quickly, really hard, and really fast. Quickly and fast are the same thing. Didn't need to say both of those.
So my buddy does live near Greer.
Does he?
Yeah, he lives really close to him. I think
amazing.
I think he really does.
Get him on. That's like that. That's your next mission. Your next mission's Greer.
No, I don't think so. I would love to have him on. I don't even know how to contact the guy. Otherwise, I would just shoot him an email.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that's fucking crazy. Like he lives so close that I bet we flew over his place.
Yeah. Maybe
I'm gonna have
you.
to verify that, but I think that's right.
Maybe that's why you flew over his house, because he was doing like C5 and he just
He
channeled
called
your
us.
plane.
No, it's because my buddy let me fly. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I didn't want to turn because I was afraid we were gonna die. You know, things held together with duct tape and hope. He's a former fighter pilot. I am fucking not. And the balls it takes to fly in his plane is I'm borrowing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is a temporary thing. Let's get down safe.
I don't like flying at the best of times.
And we're two hardy sized boys in that thing, man. Like it was like we took off. He's looked at me, turned around, looked at me, and like he's the mic. He's like, I've never used that much of the runway before. Because we're going. He's like, we're either gonna make it or we're gonna hit those trees. I thought he was kidding. I should have known better. But that's a weird coincidence, man. I'll talk to him again soon. I'll see if he knows him, because they're a little. I mean, it doesn't matter. But anyway, someone had said that I'm new to meeting. Is it? I know, Alethea. I was gonna say, Dave, you are new meeting Lee and Ollie. Dun dun dun.
I thought this is a good point. Talk about people being closed minds to stuff. Is that people just suffering from various derangement syndromes? I think that's a fairly good call, to be perfectly honest. I think people may be in such a position where everybody's dealing with their own shit. It's you know the point where if you have a run of bad days, and like something else comes across your way, and you just go, nope, bad enough. Not even addressing that because I've got enough on right now. Thank you very much. Maybe that's just where people have got to. Maybe that's why nobody cared when it was fucking essentially like disclosure of off planet, outer dimensional fucking life forms.
They don't really say off planet though, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. They never say that. I like this one right here.
I don't agree it would give you the time unless you paid him. I agree. I still find it like right. I still remember that episode of Rogan where he was talking about Stephen Greer with somebody. I can't remember who it was, and he said no. He said I had Greer on. He said in the early days of the podcast. I think it was one of the first ones he did when they moved into like a proper studio. And then he was supposed to come back on, and Greer wanted paid to go on JRE.
Of course he did.
Which is fucking wild. And see, that's the other thing that makes me think there is that shows how maybe not now, but certainly at that point, because like Rogan had the #1 podcast in the world when he was talking about this, and it was before the Spotify deal. So it was like he was the #1 podcast across all platforms, and Greer what paid to go on. That shows how out of touch Greer was at that point. You can almost think that, especially at that point, you had Corbell was bringing out his documentary on Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar hadn't been on Rogan yet. I don't think Corbell had been on Rogan yet. They were. I think it was just when the New York Times article had come out. You've got to think if Greer had done Rogan at that point, that could have been enough to catapult himself right back into the fray again when it comes to this. Because at the minute, it feels like Greer is like holding on with his fingertips. It's because
he was.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to do it. It's too easy and it's low hanging fruit. But I think you can judge a lot by a man's film crew.
Whatever you mean.
Yeah,
I don't have anything against the Cousins, man. I have
no,
zero
I don't
against
either.
them.
I have nothing against them. I think
I think they've built a good little business model for themselves. They're doing well.
my problems were how they made a conversation they had with Ollie about something, which I can't remember whether he's brought up on this show, so I'm not going to.
I don't believe he has.
Yeah. And the fact that some guy put a load of work into making a documentary about them that was calling them out, and instead of being men and addressing what it was, they had his fucking channel shut down. That was shit. That's it's and then they have the goal on Alien Girl when I happened to be listening to that one day when they were on. They had the goal to try and pretend, and it is a pretending because there's no way what they do is in anywhere near like the shadow banning territory for YouTube. They're perfect for YouTube, absolutely perfect, offenseless content. Nobody can take offense to that stuff.
Not like us.
No. And to turn around and say how they're battling YouTube's algorithm after they just had some poor cunt shut down. Oh, there goes the monetization. Damn it.
Fuck.
Yeah. The fucks they can handle, the C's they hate.
Really?
I thought that was pretty grim. I do. Yeah, I thought that was pretty iffy from anybody. Greed and Rogan. Yeah, Greed and Rogan a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Media Mongol doesn't. Sorry, I didn't read the end of that. He said, "Holding on with his fingertips." I can't. I can believe that. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to say I can't believe that, but yeah, I think he's getting shuffled aside for the Lazar story and the Jeremy Corbell's of the world.
Yeah, Jeremy Corbell, like he's just better. He's more personable, and he's fun and he's energetic. He's passionate. Greer is condescending and constipated, and yeah. I fuck, dude. Like, I think it's interesting, like the Rolling Stone article, like when they kind of went after Jeremy there a little bit. I thought that was interesting, especially
Rolling
the
Stone.
used. Yeah.
I like Rolling Stone. If there is any publication which is 100% institutionally captured, it's fucking Rolling Stone. Yeah, like that is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, when they kind of went after him like that, I was like, huh, let me rethink this. And other people are like, dude, it was part of the calculation, so you can see him giving these people too much credit. There's just so many moving parts. Like the fact that, like, that's the thing, is you either have to believe that it is a master manipulation and they're able to work all these different aspects together that aren't linked to each other. It's different like when the military does something because it's all piped in, it's all fed in, the comms are all orchestrated, there's leadership. Talking about vast spread of assets of, just everything. Like to coordinate that, it really does seem like there's a different influential hand at play.
Welcome to the show. Show just put a good comment up. Said the whole Congress thing has destroyed the old dogs of ufology. I think not only in pop culture do you see that, as in and sort of pop culture media do you see that. I think you see it on YouTube as well. I think there's definitely a few people, some I like, some I'm unsure of, that are on YouTube right now that talk about this stuff that have lost their fucking minds because of the Congress stuff.
I think anyone who's into this, like, you have to be careful with this type of thing, the phenomenon, and that's what I like calling it. It's just me. I think too much exposure to the phenomenon drives people fucking crazy. Drives people crazy. Legitimately, it drives them out of their fucking minds. I don't want to give any examples because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but they're out there, and anyone who's watched enough of them or has had an experience with people like not necessarily on like YouTube, like podcasts or YouTube or anything like that. I mean, like normal ghost hunter-esque people or people who are into the occult and follow it, they lose their fucking minds, man. They lose the plot of the fucking story. Yeah, it just is. Something about it. It's like radiation. It's like some unknown radiation that just permeates and fucks people's heads. And when they get away from it, they kind of like normal out and get back to being who they were. And they're like, I can't believe I was ever that kind of a fucking douche knob. And then they're like, well, I enjoyed it. I'll get back into it. And then they fucking, once again, they just spin out into the ether. It's strange. It's strange. I think taking a measured approach is the best way to go. But even then, you got to be careful not to get sucked in.
Another good comment here was, yes, but Korea is the only one confident of peaceful ETs. I think he's the only one confident of actual ETs now.
Yeah, I think he is the only one about peaceful.
Well, not just peaceful, actual like extraterrestrials. I don't.
Oh, yeah. He's the only one still on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like non-weaponization of space. So until someone else steps into that space, Greer will maintain that leadership role. But leadership of what?
Getting paid, baby. Getting paid. I thought about paying for one of his classes up there in Appalachia. And when I looked at when I was able to figure out kind of what the price tag was going to be, I was like,
it's $5,000, isn't it? Is it $5,000?
Yeah. I was like, I don't want $5,000 for one night to like look at the stars, bro. I fucking can look at the stars. So is what it is. Mm-hmm. I was kind of figuring it was going to be a couple $100. I was like, nah, I'll eat that. $5,000. It's like, nah, I don't like you that much. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know, man. As far as it goes, I don't know. I just don't feel like whatever it is, I don't feel like it's from another planet. I don't think the governments honestly know a whole lot about it. Do they know more than us? Yes. Do they know a lot? I mean, well, relative to what? Nothing. Do they have a clear understanding of maybe where the phenomenon is and or is located? Yes. And it's weird that it keeps like seeping out, like they're intentionally seeding different things, like Oceania off the eastern coast where the military does a lot of things. Like they're talking about, they're seeing unknown objects in that space all the time, like every day for a year or something. And then they go on to talk about something else. Cool, let's go back to that. Like you have all these military ships, planes, incredible surveillance, radar, signal detection. You got to be scanning the shit out of the area, and you're telling me you don't know anything else about it? Well, I mean, that's not what we said. We just said that, we had contact there. Well, what was the contact? Nobody talks about, like, nobody asks any further questions about it. They just let them ghost over and go to the next one. And that's fine. Should the government ever choose to pay us, any government pay us, I will happily gloss over the needed questions as well if we get to interview anyone.
Moody Mongol just put something out here, and I don't know what he's talking about. I still want anyone to debunk Dr. Shirley Wright, Einstein's assistant in the 40s. The fact such a high-ranking figure, and her words on Roswell have never been covered in the media. So to me, I don't know what you're talking about, mate. So if you could pop up what Shirl's said about
I
Roswell.
say that. I'm thinking. My friend Max, who's been on this show before.
Yes.
Worked with one of the paperclip scientists. It was one of his first gigs.
Oh, Joe, you know what? Max hasn't been on Alien Out, has he? I think Max was on Must See Audio.
Oh, I bet he was. Yeah, fuck. It doesn't matter. I have a buddy named Max. Believe it or don't believe it, I don't care. He worked with one of the paperclip scientists. I don't want to say which one because then it would be too easy to figure out who Max really is, and he wouldn't appreciate that. But the guy was very important. And he had joked around with him about different things. And like he was coming to the end of his contract. He was a contractor brought in for a very specific solution, and they did it over like 9 months or whatever. And they were just kind of like having like a goodbye conversation as you do when you get to know someone and you kind of like him. The guy had grown to like Max, and it's hard not to. He's brilliant and he's funny. And he had like they were talking about different things, and he just kind of asked him, "So what do you think is going to happen in the future?" He's like, "Future what?" He's like, "Future space, future, when are we going to see the little green men, the little gray men, whatever?" And that guy just started dying laughing. He's like, "We're never going back to the moon." He's like, "There are no little green men." He said, and the next invasion will come from somewhere that most people won't be able to handle. He's like, "What?" He's like, "It's been good working with you," and just kind of left at that. Like he just kind of rolled on. You know what I mean? And I was like, "So what did he mean?" He's like, "I don't know. He could have been fucking with me." Like that's he's like, that wouldn't be beyond him. He's like, "That's a hell of a way to leave things." And I'm paraphrasing the conversation for various reasons, but yeah, man, I just always found that was always interesting. But again, could have just been fucking with him. There's some humor in that, you being this paperclip Nazi who's esteemed in the scientific community. Then you get this young, bright-eyed engineer working with you, and you just kind of want to fuck with him a little before you leave because you can. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that. So,
Brasmo just chimed in there. Don't you think Grush, Rogan, and Corbell seem it will unite humanity against the non-human intelligences, one world government against aliens and demons? And I know what you're trying to get to there, and I kind of agree with it. It's we all have a suspicious eye over towards the World Economic Forum and stuff like that, but
they're only here to help.
But that's why they just want to buy the farmland.
That's right.
Just so they can make food for us.
And all the housing in America.
Yeah.
Specifically America.
So we can live somewhere when they're making the food for us. They just want to help people.
Or maybe they don't want anyone to live here because they ain't renting those properties.
When the time's right, they'll rent them really cheaply.
Or not at all.
Really cheap. But the thing to think is here, and on a level, I definitely agree with you. But on the other side of me, and I'm trying so hard now because I see like the whole tribalism thing everywhere, in every corner of things. I'm trying really hard to think, right, okay, I kind of think this, but what if? And the what if here is, what if it is real? So regardless of where they come from, at that point, it doesn't fucking matter. It's we're being faced with fucking spaceships, like, or extra good land ships, whatever they are, being piloted by grey beings which are soulless with massive black eyes that now and again borrow people and do things. So at that point, I think it's hard to it was it Reagan that said I can't.
Yes, it was Reagan.
Yeah, I can't help but what we think if we were faced with some sort of extraterrestrial threat and how quick humanity would put its difference aside. I think if that wasn't verbatim, it was pretty close. Yeah. You've got to go. It's right. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, it is. Yeah, we would. We'd put everything else aside.
Look, he's in the chat.
Loser.
Max has been on. Amazing. So he has been on Alien Addict. It's good. For those that don't know, Ollie isn't here tonight because he was arrested earlier this evening. I
told him you can't do that in public to foreign animals.
I don't know the details, but I do know that he's banned from his local pet shop, and at least 2 guinea pigs are
Missing.
in a critical but stable condition.
Oh, they found him. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, they thought there was 3 at one point.
Probably was.
Yeah.
They're just looking in the wrong holes. It's not like this is his channel. We're just shitting all over him.
Sorry, Browser was come back there. Grish said the government has a deal with non-human intelligence. If people won't fall for the fear shit anymore, then they wouldn't. This wouldn't be. But then, wouldn't this be the easiest way to control us all? Do you know? I'm not convinced that, to go slightly off topic, I'm not convinced this is about control anymore. Because there's so many easier ways than just... There's so many easier ways to control people. And realistically, everyone's under fucking control. It's only outliers. And even us are under control to a certain way. No, but to a certain amount, we still toe the line. We still toe the line where they wanted to. You would have to go down the route of are these people like anti-humanists? Like, is that the point? Do they actually want not for a common good, even a common good for them? Do they just want to like hurt people? And I'll fuck with that idea. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's far more likely now that it's a scattergun approach of creating chaos.
I think it is an approach of creating chaos. I think chaos is the goal. I think turmoil is the goal. Because at the end of the day, like, what do we know about the people who are at least connected to the people who run the world believe? Right? That's what tells you everything. It doesn't matter what we believe or we think it's this or we think it's that. What are these other people who, have access to the fucking rulers of the world? What do they believe? They believe in things like Moloch. They believe in sacrifices and rituals. They believe in incredibly dark art I don't mean that in like magic or anything. I mean like people who are murdered in horrible ways turned into statues and then display them in public ways. They believe in, doing mock cannibalistic rituals, allegedly. Mock. They're way into that. The people who rule the world are way into that. You know what they're not into? Getting ready for ET, trying to become the next fucking android for artificial intelligence. That's not their topic, right? When we see into their private emails, which is about as much as we get, or whenever they let something slip in an interview, we see that they're under dark occult shit universally. And the more you find out even about the people that you like, that you think, oh no, they're a good person, you find out about them, like, ooh, you were involved in what? You've been to this island how many times? Like, what the hell? So something's up.
I was mighty proud of my non-conspiratorial. I wouldn't say non-conspiratorial, but definitely light conspiratorial. Maybe the like when you buy something, sometimes it comes with the demo software, like Conspiracy Light. That's kind of what the software she's got. But I was very proud of my girlfriend the other day who, out of the blue, sent me a message saying, "What do you know about like The Rock and Oprah Winfrey and human trafficking?" And I was like, "I know a lot. Let's talk about it."
How did that go? Good, bad?
Okay, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, see that I think the way to control people is not to break down communication and break down trust in institutions. That's what I don't get. In the last couple of years, that's all that's happened. Now we don't trust mainstream media anymore.
Yeah.
Before everyone, I mean, nearly everybody, even myself. I mean, I've always had a problem with the BBC just because I hate the idea that they confuse people into believing they have to pay a television license. That really rubbed me up the wrong way. Has done since I was a teenager. But I didn't think everything that came out of them was complete bullshit, which I do now.
Yeah, I don't think it always was. I know for a fact the BBC has at least one shining moment of brilliance. They did a like expose documentary piece on Waco, and it was amazing. It was showing footage they never showed here in the U.S. that no one ever talked about in the U.S., like automatic weapon fire from helicopters as people tried to run out the back, that the tank was armed and was shooting into the building. No one was shooting out of the building. They were just shooting into the building as they pumped it full of gas. And then you can watch them throw flashbang after flashbang and burn the whole damn building down. And they didn't let anyone who tried to run out got gunned down. Right? Like, and the BBC showed that footage. And I was like, that one, how did they get it? Two, this is amazing. I always thought that was interesting. But again, most people just don't care, man. They don't want to care. They don't want their life, changed. It's amazing. And the one thing everyone should take away from this little sniffles that went around and the reaction to it is how much fucking sheep people are. Every person who complied, every person who got, all four of them. And, they you need to remember who those fucking people are. Those are the same people who wanted to put you guys in camps and take your kids and do horrible shit. Never forget, never forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's coming again, man. It'll just be something different next time. But those are going to be the same motherfuckers. It's kind of like, what was it? Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Give it a few years. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, right? It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's something I took away is all these people that were getting jabbed and, wearing the mask. It's kind of like when I would walk around without a mask or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, just what is wrong with you fucking people?
It was there was a very B movie, like The Stuff as well, sprung to mind. Remember the film The Stuff, where everyone started drinking the same yogurt, and it was it was like an invasion film. It's really good, like pulp B movie. But yeah, we got some interesting things here. The Moody Mongols, Lee, it's called the Nudge Foundation's company organized to nudge public in space. It's actually called the Nudge Unit.
That's who Moody Mongol works for.
Yeah,
he misquoted it purposely. I would too. Good job.
Really?
It's good tradecraft.
That's interesting. I know about the Nudge Unit because of the
whenever you know the name of something that could potentially give you away, you always misquote the name.
I very much enjoy speaking to you about that. Actually, I had no idea, but I'm a big fan of Laura Dobsworth's book. The what was it called? State of Fear. What? What have I missed?
That's because we get paid better than the CIA.
That's incredible.
No, CIA would never have me. I never clear any of those background checks or the psyche val.
No.
No.
Yeah. Laura Dodsworth book, The State of Fear. It was all about pandemic Britain and the social manipulation that went around with it. It was one of the things that, because I was on the fence of how things were anyway. I definitely had most of my fucking leg on the right side of the fence, and that just completely pushed me over it when I went, oh, this is bullshit, my friends. What else we got? Chris Rogers. It's a good name. It's a good name, Chris Rogers. Sounds like an
made up name.
It sounds like a made up name, but
great made up name.
Yeah, I could imagine Chris Rogers being like an offshoot of like Dan Dare in the but if people can get your words out, Lee. If they can get people to stay indoors for weeks, just weeks, months, my friend, some people over a year because of the virus.
Just depends on how compliant and weak your people are.
What will they be prepared to sacrifice it when Predator turns up? And I think it's fairly good. Fairly good.
It bleeds,
thing.
It can die.
Yeah, Moody Mongol. I like him. I hate him. I think how the mass media attacked through the through the Trump administration, and how they went in for the CCOF. Those were the last straw for many. They saw the light. Yeah, I would say that is probably the lasting legacy of the Trump administration, should he not get another term, is shining a light on what 100%, right? Regardless of Trump, I still don't believe he should have been the fucking leader of the free world. I think you motherfuckers should have found better people to put against each other.
I like that the rest of the world just leaves it to us, though. Everybody wants to bitch about the decision, but nobody wants to come to the top and make them.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't like how you're driving this car. You want to drive it? Well, I didn't say that. Okay then.
But that he really did shake the foundations of media. I think you can, if it was probably inevitable, but he definitely accelerated the growth of alternative media.
The fact that he was on Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And he was on Alex Jones multiple times. I don't know if it was him or his media people, but they are brilliant. Even how they're playing this off, like when he, had to get booked and all that jazz, people are like, no, don't go, just ignore him. I was like, no, he absolutely needs to go. He needs to go. He needs to get that booking photo. And as soon as he did, he released it himself. It's on all the advertising for him. Like, that's it.
Well, I think that's one of the things that Robert Kennedy Jr. is doing right. He's hitting all the podcasts.
He is, but he's not going to go anywhere. His weird voice and speech patterns got him. He's dead in the water.
I think
it's just as little as that, man.
I get what you mean. He sounds weak, and I get that. I would be interested to see him lose the nomination to Biden, because that would show the corruption within that. And I'd like to see him run with Trump as a running mate.
He'd be a good VP. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
I think that would be such a sharp move as well to get the middle ground.
He would too. Yeah, he
left
would secure
voters.
Yep. Yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. He says everything. He says all the right things.
I know. I listened to a podcast with him. I think he did Bette Davis, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He also did Sean Ryan's. He's done a bunch of them, but he always says all the right things with whoever he's with, and it bothers me. I don't like it.
It's either he's saying all the right things, or we are finally seeing an emergence of a pushback, or like for the new normal brigade. That's the positive I can take out of it, is maybe we're seeing the first glimmers of a new breed of what what new media has spawned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope that's what it is.
Yeah. I like this. How would everyone react if they showed up all around the world? I think there'd be fucking panic.
Yeah, I
think people would lose their shit.
Look what
it wouldn't be a party.
Paper.
Yeah, I mean, not just that, dude. It would be bad. It would be bad. Yeah. I know everyone says, no, everyone's comfortable with it. I think they'd be just fine.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Wrong. Yeah, they're not wrong. It would be horrible, man. Like here in the US, I don't know how it was where you guys are, but here in the US watching, people were tense. Just during COVID, going to the grocery store, people were tense. There were fights, there were assaults, things that normally don't happen.
I kind of enjoyed all that bit.
No, I mean, I thrive in the chaos. I don't understand. I'm if the world's soaked in gasoline, don't give me the matches. I'll fucking burn it for the spite. I don't even need the warmth. I'm not cooking anything. What'd you do? I just want to watch. just want to watch. So again, like I said, CIA psych profile pay, they're not letting me through. I'm not from the right family. That matters too. Or I'm not of the right faith. I'm not Mormon. A lot of Mormons in the intelligence agencies. But I don't know. It's nice to have an active chat tonight.
No, it is. It's good. I like it. I was going to say something then. It's just, but yeah, as far as them showing up all around the world, I mean, I'm comfortable with tigers. Yeah, I think they're cool. I've seen them in zoos. They can run really fast and they fuck shit up. I'm comfortable with the fact that tigers exist. I would not be comfortable if I came home and was in my house.
Well, here's the thing. This is it's an interesting novelty. It's on Reddit and that people use it as writing prompts and stories and stuff. It's like, what if humans are space orcs? Compared to the rest of our like rocky-esque planets in our solar system, Earth's gravity is kind of heavy. Compared to other moons or to Mars, wherever. Like our gravity is kind of heavy. We breathe oxygen, which is combustible and corrosive, by the way. Water itself is a corrosive. We eat spicy foods. We do all these things. I think this is a very interesting intellectual experiment. What if there are aliens from another world and they're fucking terrified of us? They view us like we view chimpanzees. It's like, we can't go talk to those things. Like, they will rip us a fucking part. Look at them. Look at them. They're just fucking muscle and move. Look at them run. Look at them. They pack hunt. Like, they're warlike. Look at the shit they eat. No, man, we're not doing that. I just watched it. I just watched a guy with a fucking bow and arrow kill a moose, rip it apart, throw it on his back, walk across a fucking mountain, start a fire, and eat it. What would it do to me?
And check this out. Like when they want to relax, and they get like 2 weeks off, they go to these places and they
almost die.
They've got cars which they attach to train tracks, which they fire really quickly around, and they do it to scare themselves. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Have
awesome.
you seen Gary McKinnon's YouTube channel recently posted a genuine telescope imagery of very strange structures in the not too distant from Earth's space? No, I haven't. I'll have a look.
I don't know what it is.
Gary McKinnon is the guy which hacked NASA. Remember in the 90s?
Yeah.
I would give my second best testicle to get him on this podcast. I'd keep the best one.
What if that's not enough?
I mean, realistically, I've got.
What are you doing with them? What do you need them for?
That's it. I've got one child. I don't really want another one.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I'm snipped, bro. I'm fine. Mine are just there for aesthetics.
I like
intimidation.
I like to keep them.
And that way, if I ever end up naked on being hung from
I suppose if I did, I could get like prosthetic ones. I could get like, because I've just got like some normal bollocks.
Yeah,
fucking meaty ones. But
as a man,
that
with
would
large
make your penis look smaller.
No, yeah, that's what I was about to say. As a man with large testicles, you don't want large testicles because big potatoes on the plate make the meat look smaller. It doesn't matter what you're packing if you got 2 4.5 pound potatoes next to it. Shit, I got a porterhouse. Nah, it doesn't look like it. It looks like a fillet. You got to put it in your mouth, hold it in your hands to really know what they're working with. And they're like, holy shit! It's like it's not my fault the balls are huge. I didn't do that. God delivered it. I just signed for it.
The immediate Mongol offer him drumming lessons, plays his strengths. I was going to go for intelligent conversation, but you're probably right. Yeah, no, I would. I'd love to get Gary McKinnon on. I think he's one of the most legit people, I think, when it comes to this.
That'd be a great conversation.
Yeah,
I think if life, say extraterrestrials are truly that, they're extraterrestrials, they are not from this world, then there is some kind of policy in place that they're not to contact us, or we're isolated for some reason. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Prison planet,
maybe. Maybe we were an intergalactic race and we fucked something up. Like we're not gonna extinct them, Put them on this little planet, take all their technology, let them start over.
That's
but keep a fucking eye on them.
It's a fucking lovely feeling, that, especially if it's the idea.
What if we're space Nazis? What if we were the fucking space Nazis? And they're just, and the whole universe got together to stop us. And they're like, listen, we're not going to be them. We're not going to genocide their whole fucking race, but we're going to put them on one little planet on the outside of a galaxy that nobody gives a shit about. And nobody, I mean, fucking nobody goes there. So they just send the wardens around every now and then to make sure we're not got too far yet. And the whole universe is trembling. Hey, they are not too fucking far from FTL engines. Everyone in the universe is like, oh fuck, not again. You know, maybe we've caused some intergalactic holocaust.
I was just going to say, wouldn't that be awful if that's the Graham Hancock's cycles, Earth cycles? Is that we are just too
space Nazis?
Yeah. So whatever's outside has far too much empathy to pull the plug.
They won't just wipe us out.
It can't pull the plug on a whole race.
So we just keep coming back.
Yeah.
You know, it would make sense because think about it. When the Nazis, like the tall whites that were helping the Nazis, maybe they were our intergalactic allies at one time. And they're trying to help us get our footing again. Because as soon as they heard Hitler talking, they're like, oh, shit. They're getting the band back together. Let's go see what they're up to, guys.
What a depressing thought that is.
It's a fucking terrifying thought.
I mean, the only good thing about that is the idea that there's something out there with so much empathy it wouldn't just wipe us out.
It obviously did a lot of damage to put, that's where the whole Adam and Eve myth, right? There's like, how many are you going to put back? 2. Just fucking 2. They make it.
The next Alien Addict t-shirt will be I love space Jews.
I mean, it's maybe that's why we had so much advanced shit back in the day, is they understood how to do things, and just fucking died out as time went on. They were just never able to get off the fucking planet. Maybe that's why they went interdimensional. It's easier to do that than go interstellar because they didn't have the resources or tech. Or maybe, I don't know, man. There's a lot of weird things about our solar system compared to others. Maybe we can't leave. Maybe this is the permanent prison. But again, maybe we're space Nazis.
I was listening to it the other day, talking about, was it Socrates that wrote about the time before the moon?
Mm-hmm.
And he referred to a civilization, a pre-moon civilization. That's fucking like wild that we have written record of a time before the moon that no one talks about.
Mm-hmm.
We take so much art and history from that period in time, but we go, well, that's clearly bollocks. But was it bollocks?
That's the monitor. That's the monitor. It makes you wonder. So, like, here, this is a fun thought. Maybe not so fun. So, I believe it's all the royal families have the Rh negative gene, right? Like the Western European ones. Yeah, most executives and CEOs, I think it's 90+% are Rh negatives. Mm-hmm. Maybe this form that we inhabit right here, this human form, is actually fairly common. Maybe life or creation of life. I need to hold my hand down. I was hitting the handbag the other day. Look how fucked up my knuckles are. Anyway, so maybe life is, and what was left of the space Nazis got dropped off, and they're the Rh negatives. That's why when they showed up, they just fucking took everything over.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, all right, let's start enslaving people. That's what we do.
I did see in there was an evolutionary scientist I watched doing a talk about how life would turn up like on other planets. He said his thing was, if we take life as in how we've evolved, because it's the best thing we've got to go off.
Mm-hmm.
He said for a civilization to reach some sort of technological like apex, like where we're at, by bipedal hands with digits is the way to go. You know, we constantly talk about how fucking smart dolphins are. They've invented fuck all. Why?
Yeah.
Because they got flippers instead of hands.
I don't really believe in evolution. Doesn't make
No,
sense.
I've no idea anymore
Yeah.
with things. Like like I say, I've lost all doubt. But there is the amount of things we were taught as children in school that when it
Lies.
comes to history, lies, or at least it's willfully accepting a story and teaching it as truth. You know, I always go back to Egyptology for this.
Mhm.
We've all seen the textbooks at school, the textbooks which show the tree trunks, and then bringing rocks up the Nile, and then putting the rocks on the tree trunks, and like
That's just not anywhere.
1,000 slaves dragging rocks up ramps in order to them to be like seated. Not one point in those textbooks did it say, and they had to do this like once every 5 seconds for 25 years, non-stop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, it's because if you stick that bit at the end, you go, oh right, well that's wrong. That's clearly wrong. So Paul said, look how quickly we have damaged the planet compared to animals that don't damage Earth. I think the proof that we are not supposed to be here. Maybe. I look around where I live, Earth doesn't seem particularly damaged. I'm guessing it doesn't look particularly damaged where you are as well.
Even like around where I am, and there's some fucking straight up nuclear type disasters. It's kind of amazing how quickly things heal out.
I'm not going to say that humans do not have a detrimental effect on the Earth, but I think the idea that humans could kill the planet is hubris to the highest order, almost as big as people think it is. That what them watching how much electricity they will use will change the planet. It's politically motivated in my eyes.
I changed my mind.
I agree. I agree.
No. I changed my mind about what I was about to say.
I think what I just said is as hard as you can go on this particular thing on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah. I was about to prove the whole space Nazi thing true.
Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of what the current world's disclosure is.
We should make that a show, by the way, a Rockfin show. Humans are space Nazis.
I think we could make it into some sort of B movie, like Sharknado type film.
If you think about it, like the swastika's from Sanskrit, like they found it in like Sumerian text. Like it's old.
Did you? It's backwards though, isn't it?
Yeah, but who gives a shit? That was just them figuring it out now. Again, I'm telling you, once that rhetoric got out off the planet, one of the first big broadcasts, right? You got the Nordics showing up saying, "Hey, we're getting the band back together. You guys are back on it again." Hell yeah! We didn't know. We didn't know that. You know, they're like, "Why is there no life in our part of the galaxy?" We did that.
Yeah.
And then they stuck us here. God, that would be terrible to find out. That would be terrible. The intergalactic show up and they're all cagey with us. What's wrong? Well, 200,000 years ago, your species was spacefaring and you wiped out 600,000 civilizations. Sorry? So you've been sentenced to your planet for 2 millennia. You need to go back. Fuck.
I think there's definitely going to be a chat at some point on a Rockfin show about your man from the 70s show, which has just been given like life sentences to, like, I think he gets parole in 77 years for the big R.
I think what we should have a chat about is one of the victims calling out Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis on specific dates and times, specific dates and times that alleged things happen that she knows about that they don't want anyone else to know about.
Yeah, I would like you to tell me about that because I don't know about that. But the what I found interesting was that it's all Scientologists, isn't it?
Mhm.
I don't think Ashton Kutcher and Mia Kunis are Scientologists, but I know he
They're
is,
not.
and all 5 victims are.
They signed
Scientologists.
contracts with the church. Yeah.
Because the interesting thing I have because I know people go it this way and that way about Ashton Kutcher, don't they? Because he's gone hard on the like abuse within Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, I mean, guilty consciences drive people to do weird things.
Well, that's my thing is either being he's either on the level in like a Caviezel, Mel Gibson kind of way, or
I do not think that's it.
no, or he is 100% controlled opposition, and it's.
I think he's
defeating
trying to
narrative.
atone. I think he might have, when he was younger, had an opportunity to do things he thoroughly regrets. I'm not saying he touched kids or anything. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying he might have been involved in something once or twice that laid guilt and a burden on his heart, and he's doing his best to try and correct it. He's trying to make amends without ruining his public image.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there is definitely more to that story than what's on the surface.
I think it's interesting that I had a lot of friends that liked that show, and then they liked when Ashton Kutcher was doing Punk'd and all that kind of stuff, and it was always kind of like that Topher Grace was the asshole, and he didn't hang out with anyone, he wasn't friendly with anyone, and like all the people who read the magazines and followed that shit. Now it just kind of turns out, I guess, if you look at it, because my wife loves following that stuff, that he was the smart one, or he knew what kind of fucking people they were. Like, oh, he's a jerk because maybe he's just not a fucking scumbag. Makes me view that guy differently.
Hang on a second, I just want to point something out to Paul. Just remember, Paul, when you said the earth is a prison we are kept like dumb sheep, forced to work and be with poisons. Don't forget, as you were just up the top there, preaching from the good book of climate change, the same people that wanted to do the V part of this sentence are also the same people that are telling you that, you need to eat bugs and not travel to save the planet. So you can't disagree with them on one and then take the bullshit from the other.
Yeah. Eat the bugs. Don't go anywhere. Get the Beyond Meat.
I think it's a good place to stop it before
Space Nazis.
Before we stray too close to YouTube's Overton window, which is fucking incredibly. See, now he's speaking sense.
There you go. Well done.
Welcome back
Well
to the
done.
room.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow here at I will be. I hope you will be. We'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 to do the warm-up show for, and I will bring it up,
which is 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. For our 9/11 special over on the Rockfin. There, see, that's not the Rockfin thing. That's the Rockfin thing. The description of it's in the chat. No, not the chat. It's in the description if you want to go and subscribe to our Rockfin. It's been like we've done really well. I thought it was going to be a slow burn, like moving to Rockfin and moving over. A bunch of you guys have come over. We are currently sitting at 346 followers, which is subscribers in Rockfin World. And we've essentially been there for 2 months, maybe 3 months. I think we've surpassed my expectations for getting people to come over onto a brand new closed platform. I love Rockfin. It's my favorite of the free speech platforms. And I really hope more of you guys will come over, because most of you guys that come watch the show, like we constantly have like 40 in the live chat now.
Mhm.
And I think if you enjoy this show, you'll probably just enjoy the Rockfin show more. I know some people don't like delving into the the deeper, I'd say more useful topics that we get into
the darkness.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it should be good. Moody Mongol Stairs, I still say you should do an after show on Rockfin to smash through the bottom of the rabbit hole you've been exploring tonight's show. I 100% agree, and we were talking about this before the podcast. I think we will do a Rockfin next Sunday after this show, which might mean we might do, maybe we could start the YouTube show half hour early. Maybe that would be a move, or just cut maybe do an hour over here and an hour over there. That'd probably be the sweet spot, I think. But yeah, all of you should come over to Rockfin, because it's a great platform and great things need to be supported, otherwise they go away. For some reason, I can't get rid of Reedy Mongo's comment. There we go. It's gone. So yeah, thanks very much. We will be back tomorrow. Podcasts were late going up this week, so there's loads of audio coming up this week on the podcast if you listen to the podcast. So don't fret. It's just something happened with the YouTube downloading, and I couldn't re-download the shows to put them up as audio. Don't know why. CIA tried to get to us. Other than that, sleep tight. All the other stuff, I'm desperately looking for the video. Bye.
The American people should be given more information. They're ready for it. They can handle it. And they need and deserve to know it. Whether it's the president personally, he can't go on national TV every evening, but the Congress has an obligation as well to inform the American people.
Man, I feel like we did not stay on topic, and somehow we ended up on space Nazis.
I know. I tell you what.
Are you being prepared? Space Nazis.
What prepares you for space Nazis? Nothing.
Nothing.
Space Nazis.
Down with Nazis.
I tell you what couldn't be prepared. Nothing could prepare me a clueless if I had any chance there whatsoever. Nothing could prepare for that.
For what? Disappointment?
Disappointment. My joy. Like, is that my joy doesn't have to last long.
Yeah. 45 seconds later.
Yeah. It's
nice
you
to
know,
meet you.
It would be like if you consider like a 4-hour like mushroom trip, and then like the 15-minute DMT trip. That's kind of what it'd be, just like condensed joy into like 4 or 5 seconds.
In disappointment.
Not mine.
For her.
I can't I have enough disappointment in my own life not to worry about other people's disappointment. So
you're just saying you're going to take a pass on Ashton Kutcher then?
he's a handsome boy. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact is, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not gay, but
Oh, that has nothing to do with it.
he would definitely be the hottest person I'd ever shagged.
There's probably truth in that.